Efforts are underway to freeze wages for H-2A workers. Plus, USDA has proposed their 2026 budget. We're going to talk about all that and a lot more on today's episode of the Arkansas AgCast, which starts right now.
You're listening to the Arkansas AgCast, where we discuss the latest news, trends, and issues impacting Arkansas farmers and ranchers. Our show is brought to you by the Arkansas Farm Bureau Federation and hosted by Jason Brown and John Nickman.
Oh, that's us.
Hello. Hey.
Oh, boy, look at that. What do you know?
Did you forget where you were there
Time
for a
to
little
do
bit?
it again. Yeah, you know, it's a Thursday, but it feels like it's been 2 weeks.
You have to live in the
wrapped up
now,
this.
man. You know?
I know.
Be more
Sometimes
present.
Stop it. You're not my guru. Like, you're not
I'm
here
just saying. If I'm going to be a part of this, you need to be here too.
If I'm going to commit my time, I'm going to ask you to do the same, he says. Oh, my goodness. Feels like it's been a little bit. We deep dived last week.
Who was last week?
Well, we did something we normally don't do, but we've done twice this month, or in the month of May.
True.
We had double guests on the show.
Oh, yes, those two.
Yeah, so we had Jay Robbins. I'm
sure it was a good show.
It was excellent.
Very informative.
Yeah. Where were you, by the way? So
I was told that y'all were doing that, and that was it. I said, okay.
way to be a team player.
But I was at the pre-show meeting, and I did give
That's
some
fair.
advice on what they need to talk about.
Fair enough.
And they just stared at me.
He said, and I quote, "I'm not coming down there because if I do, I'll be shouting out things that you guys should say while you're recording."
Okay.
Like a director.
Micromanagement. But I know myself well enough that I knew I didn't need to be here.
He said, I could not keep my mouth shut if I came down. I said, that's fair. Well, you know.
Did it give you anxiety to be upstairs while things were happening?
You know, I'm so busy and so important that I didn't even think about it. You know, I had so much going on.
Oh, boy.
Actually, no.
I need a piece of tape.
Yeah.
Right here.
To be completely honest and not joking, is that, yes, I did not even, as soon as I told him that, I completely forgot about it.
Checked out.
Checked out. And then I saw it on Facebook. I was like, oh, yeah, they did that today.
Oh, man.
Okay.
So-
Well, there we go.
I hope you took PTO for your time away from the show.
I took a mental break at my desk. But yeah, I guess I get your joke.
We call
Whatever.
that nap.
Nap.
Yeah.
I haven't done that yet. I'd say,
You're against it.
yeah, if I could get away with it. If somebody walked by my office, my blinds were closed, I think everybody would know what I was doing.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
yeah.
would
Yeah.
immediately start
Doors
knocking
closed,
on the
blinds
door.
are, what are you doing in there?
Yeah, come on, buddy.
Are you awake? Well, I am now.
Sounds like forest sounds of nature going on in John's office. What's happening?
Chainsaws.
Oh, he's either meditating or taking a nap.
Yeah, it's
I
my
don't know.
meditation hour, please.
Man, sound like a startup. We got this meditation room for you.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Yeah, so we blazed right past that, but yeah, we had Jay Robbins, Director of National Affairs, and Mark Lambert, Director of State Affairs, on the show last week. They really came on to talk about the legislative session, the general session, more formally the 95th General Assembly here in Arkansas.
Yep.
We talked about Farm Bureau's legislative priorities and agenda during that session, sort of how that played out.
Yeah, there were some big ones.
There were definitely some big wins. You may have received an email or a printed copy, a document that's called Legislative Summary for 2025. Really, we walked through that document pretty heavily. And that included things like sales tax ID,
Yep.
Senate Bill 290, a number of veterinarian treatment bills like telehealth or vet technologists and things like that. So there's a lot covered in the episode. And really, I was happy to do it because we had been asked by a listener, hey, would you guys be willing to do an episode on the legislative activity from the general session?
Yeah, and it's important because those are all things that impact farmers.
Yeah, and what I liked about it is, hey, you got a printed form, you've got an email option, PDF, or if you just want to listen to that bad boy, we got you covered.
Did y'all talk about the resources that they could get to get more information?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Gave out Mark's private cell phone number and also Jay's so they could call at any time. Gave them your number.
I will answer.
And home address. So
that's what they pay me to do.
But yeah, anyway, it's a good episode. Go back and find it from last week. Audio only, of course, because it's a deep dive. But we know how that's most of you guys listen anyway.
Hey, I saw a picture of it. I got a question.
Uh-huh.
I see 2 more chairs over here sitting on this side of the room, but y'all made Jay Robbins sit on this box.
You know what he looked like? He looked like he was getting to play a little blues gig or something. He was sitting on that apple box and he had his
break out his
boots on
harmonica.
and the whole thing. You know what? I offered him a chair 3 times,
Yeah.
and he wanted to be on the apple box. So
Teach their own.
yeah, kept him
a good box.
engaged. Kept
Solid
him on his
box.
toes. Yeah. Well, you and I sit on yoga balls every episode to keep us engaged. So
Yeah.
you know, we're a big fan of alternate seating down here.
I've already been through 5.
That's a different deal.
Yeah. Good course correct.
Oh, you know, something else that we have talked about in the past was the contest that we ran in May. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
It actually came when Brian was on the road. Matthew subbed in, and we were showing off the new coffee mug that day, and Matthew recommended that we have a contest for people who subscribe and leave a review, like we ask you to do every episode on wherever you listen to your podcast. And for everybody who did that in the month of May, we drew names and selected a winner. And we have that winner today.
Do you?
And we have a new item.
Tell them what they're going to win, Bob.
They're going to win this brand new water bottle, which we have not even given ourselves yet. Yeah, very nice. It's got the AgCast logo. These are heavy duty. Been carrying these bad boys for years. This thing will be around longer than you will, probably.
Yep.
But the winner of this is, and I'm using the Apple username here, but it's Stacy in Arkansas for long. STACYNAR.
Congratulations, Stacy.
Like INAR.
Okay.
So if you are Stacy NAR, you are the winner. And thank you for reviewing us. You submitted your review on Sunday, so getting in right under the deadline there. And would you like me to tell you what Stacy had to say?
I was just going to ask, what did Stacy have to say about
So
this?
the title of their review is "Great Podcast." Thank you.
Thank you.
Stacy said, "I'm an Arkansas cattle rancher, and this podcast is at the top of my list every week. It's as entertaining as it is informative."
Wow. We usually get one or the other. I feel like.
Well, one more than the other, probably.
It's like, oh, the news is great, but I mean, we could cut out y'all's corny jokes.
But here's
it's the other thing. It's like, I love the jokes, but I couldn't care for the news.
Yeah, well, there's that. Here's another one that came in the month of May. It's a good one. The title of this review is "Easy Arkansas Ag News."
Easy.
I like that. That's interesting.
Yep. Fair.
5 stars also. Stacy gave us 5 stars, I should mention. Actually, 100% of our reviews are 5 stars.
Well, how about that? There's nowhere else but down from here.
Here it is. Great source for ag news in Arkansas.
Yeah.
And it won't put you to sleep.
Hey.
How about that?
I like that.
So
That's our new tagline.
it won't put you to
It won't
sleep.
put you to sleep.
I love it.
Come
I think we
listen to
should
John
stick with
McMahon
that.
stumble over his script.
Yeah. It won't put you to sleep. So anyway, I thought that'd be fun to share. So Stacy, when we post today's episode on Facebook and Twitter, which will be about 4:00 this afternoon, find the comments, reveal yourself, or I guess if you want to stay anonymous, send a private message to Farm Bureau, one of the Farm Bureau social channels, and just say, hey, it's me that won the water bottle. We're going to send you a coffee mug too and some stickers.
Yeah.
But so let us know who you are so we can get your prize out to you as soon as possible.
Yeah. And thank you to everybody that participated. Reviews go a long way.
Absolutely. You were just saying that you think maybe we should do another contest.
I do.
So
do we do this every month?
maybe. Maybe the next one is...
How big is y'all's budget over there in PR?
Maybe the next one is a social media contest. Like if you share an episode of the podcast, we could do that and something. We'll put heads together, figure that out, and let you know what we'll do there. So
yeah.
But yeah, I think why not? Kind of fun.
And we usually do a special show at some of our events, like the Officers and Leaders Conference coming up.
Yeah.
I foresee us handing out some goodies.
Oh, that's a good
some
idea.
of those as well.
That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. I like that.
Yeah, maybe for football season, we start a pick'em, a weekly pick'em. And whoever has the highest amount of picks at the end of the season, we give a prize out.
Okay.
Lots of different options.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I like that.
Yeah. Okay. Anything to get your
Get my
your
fix in
sports,
on
wagering going on?
Well, I was thinking about baseball. The tournament's coming up.
Yeah.
Or they're kind of they're in postseason right now. But I don't know, like you told me the other day, you don't watch a whole lot of college baseball, but Euler was playing
Never
LSU.
have until Sunday.
Yeah.
You know?
So
In another life, were you a bookie?
probably.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. I can tell you
Probably.
that. Yeah, I did enjoy baseball. I'm still catching up from the lack of sleep Sunday and Monday night, but I did enjoy seeing Euler in the tournament.
Yeah, I
that
did
was
too.
fun.
Yeah, it was.
Of course, Arkansas plays Saturday at 4.
Yeah, so they play Saturday, Sunday, and if another game is forced, the third game's on Monday.
It's structured like this past weekend.
I found this out. Like, so I'll back up. The World Series tournament, half of the tournament teams start on Friday, and the other half of them start on Saturday. So in the super regionals that are about to play this weekend, half of the teams in the super regionals, or half the games in the super regionals, start on Friday, and the other half start on Saturday.
Okay.
So that the winner of all the super regionals had the same amount of rest time through the next week.
Oh.
That makes sense? Without 6 or 7 days.
Then they'll flip. Yeah. Oh,
Because
that
for like
makes
the
sense.
last week, I'm like, why are we starting on Saturday? Like, why is the third game on Monday? You know,
Well, I'm new. Like I said, I'm new to watching
learned that.
or paying attention to college baseball. But boy, am I a fan of the structure of the playoff.
Yeah,
and how all that
the
works.
regionals had that kind of March Madness first round feel.
Yeah. If
It
they're
really
not
did.
trying to do that, they're doing a good job at it anyway.
Yeah.
The March Madness kind of vibe.
And it's still kind of the same thing. Like ULR only got in the regionals because they won their conference tournament, right? Mm-hmm. So like that's the same thing for these smaller conferences in March Madness.
I ended up watching the Ole Miss game just because, hey, I've got it on here waiting on the Euler LSU game. And then when the Euler game came on, I had to keep watching the Ole Miss Murray State game on my iPad because I'm like, well, that game's too good to turn off. Mm-hmm. So anyway,
It's like
it was kind of fun. It felt very much like March Madness. I hadn't thought about that until this.
When you get into the regionals, every pitch counts, or every at bat counts.
Yeah.
Because that's one less that you'll have for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's fun. And then tomorrow, you guys are headed out to the trap shoot. Talk a little bit about what that is and
the foundation,
and why we do it.
Arkansas Farm Bureau Foundation Trap Shoot, is just another fundraiser the foundation does, right? Does it go to that? Those proceeds go to anything specific?
Some stick with the foundation, and then you got the 4-H Foundation and the FFA Foundation who also benefit.
So they'll, but when I first started in it, I was amazed by all the, what's the right term, youth that compete in it.
Yeah.
But we, staff competes in it, and other industry or companies have teams in it too. It's a huge, huge event. There's, what do you think, 200 people there?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
More. But we compete in it. We've got a team in CRA. But what stood out to me was the young people that have their official, real established shooting teams, whether it's high school competitive shooting or if it's, I don't know, a travel team or club.
Yeah.
We didn't have that when I was growing up.
I think it's more. Yeah, now I was really surprised to see high schools that have those teams, but probably more rural communities than anything else. But
it's in Jacksonville, right at the Game and Fish Commission trap shoot area, and it's a 5-star place to shoot at, and it's really, really nice. I think we'll have lunch. We usually have catfish there. I'm sure there will be drinks in the morning. For whatever reason, we always have milk.
That's not a good idea.
It's pretty hot.
Coffee. Okay.
Yeah. Hopefully there's coffee. But, it's tomorrow. I think it's 5-person teams, right?
Okay.
And you get to shoot 2 rounds. And it's a lot of fun. So if you're – I would imagine you could still sign up, maybe.
I don't know.
That.
I'm not going to go out on
I
that.
don't think so.
You do that if you feel like you're confident.
I'm not confident. I was asking.
I'm not going to say.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I wouldn't.
I would highly advise you to sign up next year.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
So,
Matthew is participating on an OMP team. I do know that.
Is he?
So he's coming for you.
Well, the Screaming Mimes are going to be there. They're going to show up. I will say one of our team members had to back out, so now we have John Bailey on our team, my boss.
How's he do?
I think this will be his second time ever shooting a shotgun.
Oh,
Last
there we
year
go.
was the first time.
Oh, okay.
So,
All right.
That might be worthy of going just to see that.
yeah,
No
y'all just
doubt.
come cheer him on.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
So
All right.
I'll be out there, of course, not missing a single one of them, knocking them out. So if you want to see true talent on the shooting range,
And once again,
50 for 50, buddy.
he's humble.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If I shot 50 for 50, y'all wouldn't stop hearing about it until this
You
time
wouldn't
next
be able
year.
to walk through that door. I can tell you that much. What else?
Yeah, that's about it for the shooting event. But one thing I did want to bring up is MAHA.
Explain that for us.
Make America Healthy Again committee that has been put together by the White House, I think, let's just say the Trump administration.
Okay.
And RFK Jr. is the head of the Health Services Department, Human Health Services Department for the federal government. He's leading this committee. They've put out a new report that we have sent out information on to all of our division members. So all the divisions we have here in Farm Bureau. The gist of this report is, their goal behind it is child health and awareness and the issues and the reasons they believe these child illnesses or diseases are popping up and being more prevalent currently. I'm not going to get into a whole lot of detail as to why they think that. I can definitely tell you that they believe that specific practices in agricultural production, such as pesticide and herbicide uses, for example, they believe contribute to that. The latest news that came out on it is that the research and the authors of that research that they cite in that report, a lot of those authors and a lot of those journals have come out saying that that research does not exist and those authors did not write them. So whatever truth is behind that or whatever truth is behind the report, I'm not very sure of. The main point I wanted to bring up today is that a lot of this has a potential to put a negative spotlight on what we and our farmers do across the country.
Yeah.
So this is something we're paying attention to very closely. If you want to learn more about it, you can go to the Make America Healthy Again website. They have their report, have this specific report on the front page of their website. Also, if you're going to be at Officers and Leaders or be attending any of our summer division meetings, the soybean division meeting will have a presenter that is going to specifically talk about this report and the issues behind it, kind of the background of it, where it is today, and where they see it's going to be in the future. What I can probably also say about it is this is something I think we're going to be dealing with for a long time. And I think there's a lot of backing and a lot of money behind this effort and this report and the people that kind of fall into this group. So it's something where I think us staff is here at Farm Bureau, but as well as specifically row crop farmers or all farmers in the state of Arkansas as well as the country need to pay real close attention to, because this may have some potentially dire effects on the way we we live our lives and how we make our living.
Yeah.
Yep. Not to get too dreary on you, but
no, yeah, and I know we, American Farm Bureau has come out pretty strongly against this. Got a quote. I can just give you a quote from Dan Wright, president of Arkansas Farm Bureau, about it, which is, as farmers in Arkansas, we share President Duvall's concerns about the Make America Healthy Again Commission report. Our farmers and ranchers work hard every day to produce safe, nutritious food using science-based practices. It's also disappointing to see a report that recognizes the importance of farmers and ranchers in the food system, yet fails to include our voices in the process. Arkansas Farm Bureau is hopeful that future efforts reflect transparency, trust in agriculture, and respect for the farmers and ranchers who feed this nation. So, a lot of challenges there.
Yeah, there's a lot of information and a lot of comments, a lot of other articles written about the report. If you don't want to read the whole report, you'll probably get a good idea just reading all the commentary that's out there right now.
There's a lot. Yeah.
There's a whole lot.
Yep. So, anyway, all right. Well, there's that. Let me see here. Get back over to our script. All right, let's start moving into news and information, more information here. This is usually where we tell you about the crop progress and quality for the year. We're going to do that today, but I just want to make a note. We found out this week, and this could be breaking news, honestly. I haven't seen this reported on anywhere else. But USDA announced on May 19th that beginning May 30th, NASS would no longer generate publications tailored specifically to individual states or regions. They said there's no impact on state-level data, as it will continue to be available in the national releases and through NASS's public online database, Quick Stats. That's certainly true. The data is there. We're going to give you the information today, but I will tell you that it takes a lot more time to pull together because it's not in its own. Arkansas doesn't have its own report.
Yeah.
So I don't know why you're just laughing because I'm having to wade through this stuff. So
no, I'm not trying to throw you under the bus, but it might, and unintentionally. It's like what the quick stat stuff is a lot of stuff we use as economists in our department and pulling up data and stuff like that. Yesterday when Jason told me about this, I was concerned, of course, because we've had this, a year ago with the cattle on feed report. That was a big issue when they tried to cancel that. So, of course, I kind of got up and all in arms, but Jason came in my office and said, look at this. Like, you got to go through this step, and this step, and this step. And I'm like, oh, well, it's all still there. I use this system all the time. But I'm an economist, so yeah. And I say that saying that my PR skills, lack thereof, shine out quite a bit on this show. So I was really humble, or I should say, he was probably humbled with me sitting there watching him try to be an economist or pretending to be one.
I was like, let me show you how to get to this data.
I'm not downplaying this issue. These reports were very, very much needed, and it seems like due to budget cuts and the lack of staff that are in these government offices now, they just potentially maybe can't get to this. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Nobody has said that, but all we know is there's a change. So it takes us a while. But the thing is, may give you more of a reason to listen to the AgCast because you can't just pull this information up anymore.
And Jason has another line item to put on his resume.
We have just pulled it together for you today. So let's dig in. Corn. We are done with planting corn. Probably not a surprise to very many people listening, but that is the case. Last week we were almost done at 98%. Last year, 100% done this week last year. So we're on pace there. And then the 5-year average is 99%. So we're basically tracking along with last year and the 5-year. 99% of the corn crop is emerged. 71% of the crop is in good to excellent condition, and 29% of it is in fair to poor condition. Rice, almost done there. 97% planted as of Monday. Last week we were at 94%, so you can see it's slowing down significantly. I can predict that next week they'll have this done at 100%. Last year at this time, we were all the way done with rice planting. And then the 5-year average is 96% for this week. So slightly ahead of that. 92% of the rice crop has emerged. The crop is 64% of the crop is in good to excellent condition. Another 34% of the crop in fair to poor condition. We don't include the very poor here.
Yeah. So
just know if the numbers don't add up to 100, that's why. Soybeans, 84% soybean crop is planted as of Monday of this week. Last week we were at 80%. Last year this time we were at 91%. 5-year average is 83%. So we're more on pace with that than we would have been on last year. Mm-hmm. And then I'll just tell you, with the amount of rain that we are forecast to get this week, I don't know that we will finish this before we come on.
When's it supposed to start raining?
Today.
I left my windows cracked.
They're saying it could rain all weekend, not continuously, but every day. We're going to see rain. I think they're predicting another 2 to 3 inches just for Little Rock.
Oh, wow.
So 75% of the soybean crop has emerged. The crop, 61% is in good to excellent condition. Another 37% fair to poor. So not great condition reporting. Probably likely the wet. I remember several years back going to Joe Thrash's farm and seeing some black soybeans pulled out of pods from the water. So hopefully we won't be dealing with that this time around. Cotton, 85% planted this week. Last week, 74%. So a bit of a jump there. 92% this time last year, so we're behind there. And the 5-year average on cotton planting is 93%. So we're a little bit behind there. Again, no surprise with the amount of rain we've received. The crop is 67% good to excellent and 33% fair to poor. So you see, and it's starting to see a trend in crop quality here. Peanuts, 75% planted. Last week was 62%. So you see farmers are hustling along trying to get those in the ground. Last year, this time, we were at 92%. So quite a bit behind, almost 20% behind. And then the 5-year average here is 76%. So we are on pace there. 51% of the crop has emerged with a 61% good to excellent and 30% fair to poor quality rating on the peanut crop. Rounding out with sweet potatoes, 60% of the crop's been planted. Last week it was about half. Only 1% of the sweet potato crop is rated good to excellent.
Oh.
99% fair to poor.
I wonder if some water's been sitting on those potatoes.
Maybe. That's what I would guess. So we've got some real quality issues with the sweet potato crop here in the state. And then the first cutting of hay. So right now we've got 35% of that completed. Last week we were at 29%. Last year this time we were at 52%. Mm-hmm. And then the 5-year average is 52%. So quite a bit behind on hay cutting. Condition is troubling as well. 46% good to excellent, 53% fair to poor. So you can see we've got some real quality issues across the board on our commodities, and we're behind in most cases. Rain will do that to you, and cool temperatures too. Yeah, lack of sunshine to dry things out. But the humidity's back. It felt like summer this morning, getting out of my truck.
That rain that came through Little Rock yesterday, as soon as it got halfway through, the humidity started to come back in.
Yeah.
So, but like always, I guarantee you, the faucet's going to turn off and it's going to get real hot.
Yeah.
And we're not going to see a rain for a long time. When that happens, I don't know, but
yeah,
I hope I'm wrong. Well, I'm about tired of the rain.
Well,
I've had enough of it.
That's true. This could be our last little bit.
Well, you want to get into the news?
Let's do it.
All right. Hitting headlines this week is the Trump administration's proposed budget for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in fiscal year 2026. The plan calls for $23 billion in total USDA funding, which is nearly $7 billion less than the previous year. So let's take a look at what that entails and how it compares to USDA's previous budget. The proposed budget represents a roughly 23% decrease in overall USDA funding, compared to the $29.9 billion allocated in fiscal year 2025. Significant reductions are proposed for several USDA agencies and services. The Natural Resources Conservation Service, or NRCS, would see funding fall from $916 million to $112 million.
Wow.
Huge drop. This would scale back conservation technical assistance programs. The Farm Service Agency, or FSA, responsible for farm loans, conservation programs, and disaster assistance, would be reduced by $372 million. Additionally, USDA's Forest Service budget would be reduced from $16.8 billion to $4 billion, with wildfire management responsibilities proposed to be transferred to a new entity under the Department of Interior. The budget proposal also calls for reductions in nutrition programs. Funding for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, would be reduced by more than half. The Special Supplemental Nutrition Program for Women, Infants, and Children, or WIC, would receive nearly $300 million less than in the previous year. Funding for child nutrition programs, including school meal assistance, would also be reduced. These changes are part of a broader strategy to reduce federal spending across domestic programs. Other changes in the proposed budget include the elimination of several rural and agricultural initiatives. These include the Source Water Protection Program, Dairy Business Innovation Initiatives, Direct Rural Housing Loans, and the Rural Business Cooperative Service. USDA's research agencies would also see reduced funding. While the budget proposal outlines the administration's priorities, final decisions will rest with Congress, which may revise or reject portions of the plan during the appropriations process. The fiscal year 2026 USDA budget proposal outlines major shifts in funding across agriculture, conservation, forestry, and nutrition programs. So as this proposal moves through Congress, we will be watching closely to understand how the final budget may affect agriculture and rural communities, as well as report any updates here on the show as usual.
Yeah. Sounds like there could be some farm bill implications in there too.
Yeah. I think that SNAP thing's going to, if it hadn't already, it's going to cause a huge uproar.
Yep. 50%.
And I know several people that aren't even in agriculture, but have utilized the direct rural housing loans. You know, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I get what they're doing, but maybe it's just in the wrong areas. Now that's an opinion.
Yeah. Look at you bringing the opinions.
Yeah. That's what I am, opinionated and speculative.
That's why we like you. All right. Well, look, let's take a look at action taken to freeze H-2A wages this week. U.S. Representative Rick Crawford from Jonesboro is leading a bipartisan initiative to freeze wages for H-2A visa guest workers. This move comes as part of a letter co-signed by over 100 members of Congress addressed to the House Appropriations Committee. As many of our listeners know, the H-2A program allows ag employers in the U.S. to hire foreign nationals for temporary farm work. Central to this program is the Adverse Effect Wage Rate, or AWR, which ensures that hiring foreign workers doesn't negatively impact domestic wages. This is something we've talked a lot about on this show.
Yes.
Your department's certainly been heavily involved in these AWR rates. Well, currently the national average AWR stands at $18.12 per hour, marking a 3% increase from last year. In some regions, the hike exceeds 10%. Representative Crawford argues that rising wages coupled with the program's complexity are burdensome for American farmers, especially in states like Arkansas. He emphasizes the need for a permanent solution to support farmers and ensure national food security. The letter also highlights wage disparities between the U.S. and neighboring countries. For instance, Canada's AWR is approximately $12 an hour, while Mexico's ranges between $1 and $2 per hour. Such differences, the lawmakers contend, place U.S. producers at a competitive disadvantage. This story was reported by George Jared for Talk Business and Politics. For more details, you can read the full article at talkbusiness.net. But certainly something we'll be watching. A rare bipartisan effort in D.C. Thanks to Congressman Crawford for that.
Yeah, we appreciate that. what, $18.12?
$18.12 is the average.
I think when harvest came around, they wanted me to drive grain cart in high school, and they were going to give me an extra $1.
Boy, here we are.
And that would have gave me $8 an hour.
For driving a grain cart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
that seems like easier work. Seems like you should have took a cut for that, but
the point of that comment was that $18.12 is, I mean, that's a lot.
You're not as young as you used to be.
No,
also. It's been
no.
a little while since you were in that.
I know,
position,
but
so.
there's inflation and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But
there is.
all jokes aside, something's got to happen.
How
with
much
this
was a sody back then?
a sody? We had a slew of vending machines next to the Mayflower grocery store, and they were all a quarter.
Really?
Yes.
Should have been driving to
pops.
Stuttgart. To
Quarter
buy
pops.
buy
I
my
oddly
sodies.
thought about that the other day. I was like, I wonder if they're still 25 cents.
No.
Not a chance.
Not a chance in the world.
So you would go raid the dollar menu at Wendy's or Mickey D's for lunch. You wouldn't get a drink there because you'd go down to Mayflower and get you a quarter pop.
Okay. These are name brand. They weren't store brand.
What do you mean? The beverages?
Yeah.
No, they're name brand, yeah.
Okay.
But I think there was probably somebody just like buying them and then filling them. I don't think it was like
If it's still off the books.
somebody was making a profit. Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, let's step away from the news to hear about how you can help cultivate safe roads in Arkansas.
Arkansas farmers and ranchers work 7 days a week. That means when you hit the road, you may be sharing it with farm equipment, especially if you're traveling along rural roads and county highways. Farm equipment moves slower than our pickup trucks and minivans. They may not have the safety lights and turn signals of our family vehicles either. The trucks and tractors moving down the road need extra room to make turns, cross bridges, and move through intersections too. We all get in a hurry sometimes, but it's important that we all stay safe, no matter if we're headed to buy groceries or grow them. So next time you're cruising past a pasture or field, keep an eye out for farmers. They'll be sure to keep an eye out for you too. If we all work together, we can make sure Arkansas is cultivating safe roads.
All right. I wanted to spotlight an important opportunity for Arkansas specialty crop producers. The Arkansas Department of Agriculture has announced the opening of applications for a specialty crop grant opportunity. The 2025 Specialty Crop Block Grant Program, funded by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, is now accepting applications through June 20th. This program is designed to enhance the competitiveness of Arkansas specialty crop industry, which includes fruits, vegetables, horticulture, floriculture, and tree nuts.
Mm-hmm.
No peanuts.
No peanuts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Eligible applicants encompass a broad range of entities, including universities, institutions, cooperatives, producers, industry groups, community-based organizations, and individuals. The key criterion is that proposed projects should have the potential to produce measurable outcomes benefiting the broader specialty crop industry or the public, rather than serving the interests of a single organization or individual. Projects that address critical issues impacting the specialty crop industry are encouraged. These include enhancing food safety, improving compliance with the Food Safety Modernization Act, adopting good handling and manufacturing practices, and participating in cost-share arrangements for audits like USDA Group GAP. Additionally, initiatives aimed at increasing nutrition, knowledge, and consumption of specialty crops, as well as research projects focused on improving distribution efficiency, pest and disease management, and developing new seed varieties are all considered valuable. The department will accept project proposals requesting a minimum of $20,000. A review committee will select projects to be included in Arkansas' state plan. So for more information and to access the application materials, visit the Arkansas Department of Agriculture's website, and remember the application deadline is due by June 20th, 2025.
Nice.
This is a grant they do every year, and it kind of, it wasn't, I gave all the little details of what they're looking for, but they're trying to attack or promote all aspects of the industry, whether it be marketing or food safety, expanding production so that the public has, general public has more access to healthy local food.
Yeah. You mentioned tree nuts in there. It made me think we recently discovered, meaning our department, that there is a chestnut farm here in Arkansas.
Yeah, we were saying something about that.
Yeah, Matthew, I think, is going to go up there and shoot a feature with them to share. So
I think my comment was like, well, what do you do with chestnuts? And of course, I think Jason responded, you roast them over an open fire. I was like, okay, buddy.
Like me.
Very nice.
That doesn't sound like
Do
me.
you sit at your house and read books and just munch on chestnuts?
Apparently, there's a lot of recipes. This farm's website has some recipes and some ways to.
That was no knock on the chestnut production. I just was.
I think it's pretty cool.
The smart comment was not what I was looking for. By my co-host.
Sometimes it happens. All right. Well, listen, if you've driven down I-40 between here and Memphis lately, somewhere I find myself pretty often, then this story may cause you to scratch your head a little bit. But the U of A Extension Service has put pencil to paper on solar installations on Arkansas farmland, and we have the numbers. Large-scale solar power arrays occupy about 0.2% or 0.2% of ag land in Arkansas, according to an analysis by U of A System Division of Agriculture. Solar energy production is increasingly being used to meet both energy needs and net zero emissions goals within the United States. Arkansas is following this trend with several utility-scale solar energy production systems built in 23 and 2024, and more scheduled to come online in the following years. The university acknowledged that this has raised some concerns over the displacement of agricultural land for non-food production purposes. Ag economics professor and author of this report, Mike Popp, said this is because Arkansas is more reliant on agriculture compared to the nation and surrounding states, so we're a little bit more in tune with this kind of thing. This story reports that by 2026, there will be 15 counties in Arkansas, mostly in the ag-dominated delta, with utility-scale solar arrays. Now, when we talk about utility scale, what we mean is 20 megawatts or larger possible to generate. Currently, 11 counties have these large-scale solar projects on lands defined by the U.S. Department of Agriculture census as ag land. So 11 counties have these utility-scale projects on quote-unquote ag land. 4 more utility-scale projects are scheduled through the end of 26, including one in Grant County on land that is considered woodland or timberland area. Using information gathered from the U.S. Energy Information Administration, the researchers show that utility-scale solar arrays will occupy 0.2% of the state's 13.7 million acres of ag land under current projections through 26. In counties where these larger solar arrays are used, land use ranges from 0.2 to 1.7% of ag land, so from 0.2 to just under 2%. The utility-scale solar projects range from up to 445 acres for a 50-megawatt site up to the largest, I would assume, is just under 2,700 acres for a 300-megawatt site. That's a lot of power.
It's an entire farm.
As of 2023, the state had about 15,000 megawatts of electrical generating capacity with natural gas, coal, nuclear, and other energy sources like renewables. According to the study, up to 134,000 acres of land would be required across the state to double the state's electrical generating capacity with solar, offsetting demand for power from natural gas, coal, nuclear, and hydropower during the day. And the report says basically that's not likely to happen. So if you want to read the full report, you can visit uaex.uada.edu, hit their little search bar, type in solar. You can find it, or maybe we'll drop it in the description of this episode. But it's there. Like I say, could cause you to scratch your head because if you drive from here to Memphis, boy, you see some large projects built on I-40. I think 67's the same way.
Yeah.
But look, sometimes what we see conflicts with the data a little bit, and they say the data is 0.2%.
Yeah, when you said there was 11
ag
counties, I
land.
would imagine there would have been, I don't know, at least 15.
Well, yeah, and the solar utility scale is the prime word, right? So we're not talking about arrays on top of poultry houses or.
But a 50
like
megawatt site up to 2,670 acres.
300 megawatt, that one is.
Oh, 300 megawatt. Yeah. Sorry, I read that backwards.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's huge.
Yeah.
That's a lot of.
That's a big one.
It's a lot of row crop production. Just
it is. It is. But we have a lot of ag land with just under 14 million acres. So,
yeah.
Anyway, so I thought we'd bring that to you. We've gotten some calls about it this week and some interest in it, and so I just wanted to share that one. And that wraps up the news today.
I got one last thing I should have said at the top of the show. Farm Trail.
Yes.
So strawberry season's about getting close to coming to an end. I think some producers are done. Some of them are still out there. Some of our strawberry producers on our Farm Trail passport, if you don't already have one, go get one. They will close at the end of strawberry season. They won't sell anything else. So if you're in the hunt for all 22 stamps at Fire Pit, you better get out to one of those farms. Look at the schedule on the passport. You'll see which ones are about to close. Also, in the same breath, our peaches, blackberries, blueberries, tomatoes are all about to come off. They already hadn't come off yet. So some of those particular farms are just now opening. So that just kind of giving an update or reminding people that some farms are probably about to close for the rest of the year. You're not going to be able to get a stamp from them until next season. And then some of them are just now starting to open up. So now there's another opportunity to go get you another stamp, along with some pretty tasty berries.
Not on the Farm Trail, but I did see St. Joseph's is doing some U-Pig stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Here in town or in North Little Rock. But, so go out and get you some berries.
Maybe we can get St. Joseph's in next year.
I think that's a good idea. Terrible thing what happened to them.
It is.
This year.
For sure.
You're a frequent visitor.
I am. I went out there last week.
I didn't know about the Thursday night market.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was really cool.
And he brought some bread.
Yeah, it was
that he shared with
sourdough.
me.
Sourdough.
But it was like an herb.
It was.
So you explain.
It was Italian sourdough. It was very
like a
good.
focaccia.
So, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. I tried to find you. I couldn't find you. So
I've been here all week.
But
all last week.
They've got a Thursday evening market from 5 to 7, 4 to 7.
I think it was 5 to 7.
How's the house building facility look after the fire? Is it still
very fenced off? They had us routed all the way around both sides of it for everything. You park on one side, walk to the other side. But there were several vendors out there.
If you're listening, don't know what we're talking about. St. Joseph's Farm Stand is a place here, in North Little Rock. It's an old orphanage.
Yeah, old Catholic orphanage.
Old Catholic orphanage. Beautiful building that they had lots of vendors, arts and crafts, as well as food products. But the building caught on fire and burned to total destruction.
So
and then some.
It's all
a couple months
completely
ago.
gone.
Well, I mean, it's not rubble. It's just it's the structure's still standing. But
you can see the frame.
You can still see the frame of it and stuff.
Okay.
But
But they're always at the convention, farmers market,
they're
and so
always at the
maybe
farmers
you've gotten to
market.
know those ladies there.
Yeah, Miss Sandy's a really good one to know for sure.
They're great.
Yeah.
So anyway,
yeah,
all right,
all good.
You got some stumping to do.
I do. It is time once again for
Stump the Host.
Yes.
Did y'all play with Mark and Jay the other day?
No, we did not.
You wish we had though, right?
Yeah. I do.
That would have been fun. That would have been
Somebody
fun.
needs to know my pain.
I will tell you, if you didn't get that episode, Jay walked us through a full day of meals in D.C.
Oh.
Yeah.
And it was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was a good one. Won't tell you what's on there because you can go listen to the episode, but I can tell
Leave a
you
review.
that I have been to all three of them, and I completely concur.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have multiple categories once again, but for right now, you have history.
You're up.
So
Yeah, I guess I am.
history.
Gosh. All right.
You don't get a choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, for this one, you don't. So,
Okay.
You know, throughout history, there are eras.
Yes, there are.
What era marked the beginning of farming?
The industrial era.
Hey, I thought it was my turn.
It was
I
your
was
turn to
actually going to
pick.
get
You
that.
did say it was his turn.
It was your turn to pick, but then he said there was not an option to pick.
Okay,
So.
all right. Well, industrial.
You're both wrong.
Oh, man.
It's the Stone Age.
Stone Age.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, you
Yeah,
and I were
because
thinking about
farming in
industrial
general,
farming.
we were thinking about modernization of
So-
farming, not creation of
Fun fact here. The way
He's going to teach you something.
the way we see agriculture
Apparently.
today did not exist until, like, say, the early 1900s, 1920s. Before that, for thousands and thousands of years before that, they farmed the same exact way. No plow. I mean, they probably had a horse and plow, maybe,
Yeah.
but nothing changed in agricultural production for thousands of years until the industrial era.
Yeah.
And that's fair.
Yeah, I just always thought that was crazy.
But there was farming practice long before
Yeah.
industrial.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's a great call.
So
One of those obvious
Okay.
ones that we miss.
now I shall open up
Obviously
the board.
wrong.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I also have science, geography, arts.
You didn't pick the last
I
time.
did.
You
I
were
picked- I
told
picked
what you had
history.
to answer. Then you just went along
This
with
is
it. That's
a-
not my fault.
This is, I'm not doing this. Pick you one.
Repeat them so Jason can hear them again.
Oh, my word.
Science, geography, arts.
That's science, I guess. I
Yeah,
don't know. There's
look at
not
you.
an easy.
Yeah,
Well,
dive
well,
off in that hole.
I mean,
See
okay.
what happens.
What plant has a name from the French meaning lion's tooth?
Mm.
I have no idea.
Graces many a field.
So you know this, like you recognize the
He
name
knows
of the
the
plant.
plant.
Oh yeah.
Lion's tooth.
There's no way this is it, but I don't know why it's stuck in my head.
Uh-huh.
I don't know why. I don't even want to say it.
I feel like we're thinking the same.
I doubt it.
Okay.
I don't know. What's yours?
Corn.
Corn?
Uh-huh.
No, that wasn't mine. I was going to say dandelion, but I was thinking of like a lion's mane.
I like that. Yeah, well, I first thought mushroom, but then I realized I was thinking about lion's mane.
Jason, you are wrong.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
John, you're right.
Oh,
The dandelion.
how about that?
Wow, what a win.
Very nice guess.
Wow.
Very good.
What a win.
Dandelion. It's right
See.
there in the name, isn't it?
It is. I guess.
Yeah.
See.
Dude.
So, okay.
Science is your new jam.
So, do you want to keep picking from this
Yeah.
board, or you want me to refresh for your last
It's
one?
up to him, man.
Refresh that thing.
All right, here we go. It is refreshed.
That was awesome.
I know. I'm going to
So
tell people about it.
there is entertainment, science, history in general.
Sorry. Entertainment, science, history in general.
Yep.
All right, entertainment. Did y'all jam me up with that history one right off the bat?
At the beginning of the movie, A Clockwork Orange,
Oh,
what
boy.
type of place are Alex and his friends relax at?
You know, I watched that movie
College, man.
and I was not the same person after I watched it. I haven't watched it since for a good reason.
What type of place? I don't
I
have
know
a
they drank
clue.
milk.
Where are they? Well, okay.
That always stood out to me in that movie.
Kitchen.
It was a milk bar.
Milk bar. Wow. Golly.
Hey, I think that's close enough. I got another one.
There you go.
Yeah, my God.
We'll leave it there.
No, you
That's
get
such
that.
a
You
weird
get
movie.
that totally.
Oh, it is for sure.
Man, who's the director of that movie or
Stanley
producer?
Kubrick.
Yeah, it's Kubrick.
Yep.
Better work out there, buddy. Like, why did you make that movie? What was the point in that?
I just love how no matter what college campus you were on, there were like 5 to 10 movies that
Yeah.
everybody watched once they got to college. That was one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest was another one.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of the Two Barrels, something.
Two smoking
Lock,
barrels.
Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
Yeah.
That seemed like one of them. I don't know. I'm not recommending any of these films. I'm just thinking back to college and
Listen to Pink Floyd and watch
Pink
Wizard
Floyd,
of Oz.
Wizard of Oz. That was definitely one of, it's
Wall.
like we didn't really have, the connectivity that we have now, but somehow that made its way to every
We had
campus.
DVD.
DVD, baby.
Indeed.
How about that? All right.
Giant
well,
stereo systems.
that we did. All right. Well, listen, that wraps up the news for this week. Thanks for following along with the Arkansas AgCast. We're grateful for you taking the time to watch and listen.
Yeah, remember, you can catch new episodes of the show every Thursday afternoon. Find video episodes on Facebook and YouTube. Listen to the audio version wherever you listen to podcasts.
And make sure to subscribe and leave us a review, just like Stacy in Arkansas did. You might win something for it. When you have a few extra minutes, make that happen. We'll keep an eye out. The Arkansas AgCast is brought to you by the Arkansas Farm Bureau. I'm Jason Brown.
And I'm John McMahon.
And we'll see you next week.